Alright, so we're just gonna start. Let's go netbean. Okay, so I think this is week 9, right? Yeah. Almost 2/3 through of the semester. Java application. Next. I forgot my mouse today. So of this. So I'm gonna use the pad. So you're gonna go week. Let's go 9. Create the project with the main. Let's see what we're gonna cover. And let's zoom in a little. Here we go. Full screen. Let's make that smaller. Come on. I think that's okay, right? Alright, so before I cover different topics, I'm just gonna declare my separator because I want to so we're gonna have a function separator which accepts the dummy string, and what I'm gonna do, a little bit of warm up. We're gonna print out it's dummy variable. So that's helped me separate my different topics as we go. So that should be okay. And here it is. So first thing we're gonna start, let's do a little bit of warm up. We are going to let's see what's going on. So we're gonna call my function separator, and the first topic we're gonna talk about would be string value. Alright, so here we go. So let's define bunch of variable. A is 12. So what we're gonna learn and do first is just how to convert those from one to another. So let's have one double, one integer. Let's have a boolean also. It doesn't hurt anyone. And let's have letters. So this is an array with a bunch of characters in it. Let's do that. In Java, for characters we use single quotation, and for strings we do double quotation for the people who forgot about this, semicolon. So what we're gonna do, let's convert those convert some of those to string and back, something like that. Means we're gonna convert these as we go. It always happens that you need to convert. You did that before, so we're gonna discover that a little bit as a part of this chapter. But so I'm gonna define a string, call it a string1, and in each class there is a method to convert things. So let's say in the integer class, if you recall, for the class we're using the capital I for the name of the class basically, and we can use a toString to convert the A. So what happens here, I get the value of A and convert it to the string. So I'm using integer class to convert. Okay, let's go to the next slide if you want to print it. To convert the value to string. You can also approach this the other way around. So you can have another string, let's call it string 2, and you can use the string class. So let's say I have an integer, I want to convert it to the string. You can use the integer class to convert it to the string. So the variable a here is 12, is an integer. I want to convert that to the string. There's two ways of doing it. One, you use a method inside the integer class to convert that to the string, or using a method inside the string class to convert that to the string. So each of these two can help you to convert one variable to another. Let's put it this way. So this is an example of it. I'm using the toString method to convert a to the string. Also, this time I'm calling the string class and using the value of to do the same thing. The string class to convert the value to string. Right, so if you print those out, let's say string 1, it's not comma, plus versus string 2, both of them generate the same thing. Let's run it and also test my, where's my output? Oh, there we go. I need a space here, I guess. See, both of them are the same, and you can use anything you need to actually convert it. Each, let's do another one. Let's have a string 3. So this time we're going to use a double. So B. You can do the same thing with value B. B is a double. You can convert it to that, to the string, and then print it. So play around with those. Try to do this from the string. See what happens. You also, the toString method here, it's not limited to converting the only decimal numbers or real numbers. So you can actually convert those. Let's just type it that way in the output so that you can get the binary value. If you need to convert something to the binary, sometimes you need it. You need to convert it to the binary, hexadecimal and such. You can use that methods like this. So you can go over here and let's call the integer class. And you see you have two binary strings, which is basically get the value of A, convert it to the binary, and then to the string. It's a combination of both. So let's see how that works. So that is 12. It was 12. Yeah. So that is 12 in binary. So if you need to print something in binary, that's a string, by the way. So that's a number. That's a string. It's not a number. It's a string. All right. So there's bunch. Let's do it for the hexa. I think I'm just gonna copy that. A little bit of lazy work, huh? Copy, paste. So the hexa value, hexadecimal value of 12 is, guess what, to hexa, yeah, to hex string. So this is convert that to hexadecimal, missing the L, and here we go. It's C. You know how hexadecimal works, right? It's up to 16, and it goes 0. It's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. For 10 is A, B, 11, 12, C, which is we have it there. D, go all the way to F, and then go to the next digit. So, I think what highest was F, something like that. For, yeah, those are harder languages, and nobody cares. Fill up registries, and you also can find the minimum value. Let's say you wanna find the minimum value of integer. You can call the class, and there's a parameter that gives you that value. So we're gonna go integer and dot. You see those greens actually gives you the min and max. So each variable class has those two. So at any time, so you start, you can always print it. So this is the minimum value of integer, and let's go the maximum integer dot max value. All right, so that is, if you need those values, here we go. So that's the highest integer you can actually generate, and we can do the same thing. I'm just going to copy paste that, not in the mood to type, so I'm going to go paste. So you can find the maximum value of double using the same thing. Just going to change the class double dot minimum double dot maximum, and let's do for float 2, and that's it. Floats. All right, so let's run those. Here we go. So those numbers tells you the maximum and minimum of each variable as you please. There's a bunch of them. I'm not gonna go poke around and see what it is. This is part of the topics we're gonna cover, and that's what it is. So you can find out minimum, maximum. You can convert those. Any of those. Go try out the rest, like the boolean and the letters. So try to actually convert those as strings. Bring them back. Use a character class. See what you can do. Try it out. All right. So we're gonna move on to wrapper class. So the idea of the wrapper class is this. We have those integer. You can wrap those using a class. Let's put it in the simple words. What that even means. You can do it like this. So you can, instead of doing integer a, as you usually do, you can actually call the whole class integer, and let's call it number. So you might think this is an error, but it's not. So this is called a wrapper class. So you define a variable using a class itself, something like that. It's like an object, but it's not. So this is tricky. What's the point of it? I'm gonna tell you in a second. So, so this is called an autoboxing. So you may, let's just type this topic. So you may think this should be an error, but the number is a wrapper class variable. So if you create a variable out of the class, you call it wrapper class variable. So you can do that for double, obviously, right? So double number 2, I don't know, right? So you can do that. Instead of using the lowercase, you can use the uppercase. What's the point? We're just gonna use it. So this is called that, when you're doing this, you call that auto boxing occurs. So simple words, using a class to wrap a value around it. Because in some situation you need to trick some functions or some basically library. This is not a variable. This is kind of a object, or we'll do that. So give me a second. This is autoboxing. Guess what? If you do autoboxing, you need to do unboxing, which is called that, which is the opposite of to take the value out, right? So right now, I define integer number. I'm gonna set that number or wrapper class to 7. That's it. Okay. And when you do that, so this is autoboxing the value 5 or value 7. It's not 5, it's 7. So what I did is, maybe I should write that in one line. Let's just do this. I'm gonna get rid of that. I am going to actually do this like this. So let's make an example. So we have an integer, my integer, and set that to 5. So this is autoboxing number 5. And then when you do that, when you're done with it, forgot the semicolon, you're gonna do, you need a variable, actual variable integer. So let's call it primitive number. And what you're gonna do, you simply set that to my integer. It's a really simple process. You call it unboxing. So you wrap your number, you have number 5, you wrap it around the class, you do whatever you want to do with it. I'll just gonna give you the application in a second. And when you're done, you're just gonna autobox it. No, sorry, you're gonna unbox it. So you autobox, you unbox. So take the value out again. So it's like a shell, if you may. What's a good point for it? Let's just make an example. If you recall, we talked about array list, right? So in array list, let's just create one. So we talked about the arrays last week, and we talked about array list, and I say, okay, we can have an array list of strings, we can have an array list of objects. If you remember, we had this array list with rectangles in it and such, but you cannot really have an array list of integers. Let's say So this is an array list of, let's say, strings, right? And this is okay. But if you do the same thing, let me just copy it. Oh, first we're gonna import that, right? So we're gonna import Java utility array list all the way on the top, right there. So import that. Okay, so what else is there? Oh yeah, here we go. So you can. That's it. So this is okay. So you create the array list, call the list, and the type is string. That was fine. We did it with a string. We did it with the object. However, if you want to do it for the integer, let's say array list int list int. That is an error. So that would work. So this is an error. Why this is an error? Because it cannot, here, cannot, is an unexpected type. Integer is not part of this. So any variable, you know, integer, double, they're not part of the array list. So what we should do is we're going to use our autoboxing technique to do this. If you take a look, you can do that. So you can go array. Oh, sorry, that was a typo. Let me fix that. You can actually use the whole class to define the list like this. All right, so now we're gonna actually test. So you can do this, or if you need to have a double, let me just copy. And use a whole class like that. And guess what? If you need to actually have a number in them, you can use your autoboxing technique. You can do that for double and integer. So this would be a double. Doesn't matter. I just want to show you stuff. I'm gonna make this double. Right. And that works. So instead of using the actual variable, you can use the whole class. But if you want to manipulate it, you can use this autobox to get there. So let's test. Let's have a separator. Let's test our so in that case, if I go, let's say list int add, you can add your my int to it. And you can simply print it. And you can see the 5 in there. Right, so let's have another. And you can also add it. There you go. You have your 5 and 6. The thing is, when you're done with this, you wanna use it as a variable. You're gonna unbox it. That's the whole thing. So you're gonna save that to a kind of an integer or double or whatever you want. So that's what it is. You just box it out. You trick that array list to think this is not the variable. Easy. Okay, so let's move on to this is a topic separator. Testing character wrapper class. Let's bring back or define a string input for now. And let's use our Java panel to get that input from the user. A little bit of refreshing the Java panel. We're gonna have a dialog here. So I'm gonna get a single character and see what it is. Obviously we have to import some stuff for using the so we're gonna analyze that single character. Obviously the Java panel output will be strings. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna get that character. So I need to define a character variable here. So I'm gonna go char, let's call it C for lack of a better name. I think I had C, right? What's about it? Oh no, I can't really do that. Yeah. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna store that character. I think we talk about char at, and we're gonna get the first one. We can simply see, so let's have my system exit because I cannot really waste that much of a memory here, but since I'm recording videos. Capital S, that's it. So here what we're gonna do, we can find out what this character is. You know, I'm gonna do that better. We're gonna analyze the whole string. So I was going to find out what this character is. Could be a number, could be a space, could be a, I don't know what else there. Could be lowercase, could be uppercase. We can find and analyze that character. But I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna analyze the whole string, the input, how many characters is there, how many capital, how is that. I'm just gonna improve, but that's primitive. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna say enter. So we're gonna do and change that enter sentence, and I analyze that. So get rid of that for now. All right, you can do this. So we have the input, then we're gonna go write a loop. So that is from I0 go to input dot, no look, sorry, length of input, no wait. Alright, so input dot length. So this is go through the string they put one by one, and every time I'm gonna have my character here equals to input dot char at I. So we get that, and we're gonna check that. So what we're gonna find is this. So we're gonna define a bunch of integer for now. We're gonna find that how many digits. So num of digits. What else? We're gonna find how many num of letters, how many letters they are. We're gonna find how many lowercase. We're gonna find out how many uppercase. We're gonna find out how many space. There's many. Let's stick with these. Actually, the user entered when they entered that sentence. Could be anything, right? So initially, I set all of them to 0. So I'm declaring those. And now what I do, I go through the string one by one, get each character and analyze it. So okay, let's start with the first one, and this is the condition. So we're gonna check if the character. So I'm using the idea here, using the character wrapper class. So the idea is you're gonna go use that class here, character, and you're just gonna go find that this character is letter or not. When you see the is, you'll see it in many languages. It means just generating Boolean output. So it tells you it is or it is not the character. So we check that if this is a character, what we're gonna do, we're just gonna increment my num letter by 1. Since I cannot really use if else because some of them are, it can be a letter also uppercase, right? So we're gonna check that for is uppercase. So that tells me that I'm gonna do uppercase plus plus. I think I don't need to do this, right? Because it's only one. So this is a loop. Yeah. So what else? So if you say is, that's the only thing available. Let's do is digit. And for digits, we have this num digit. So we're gonna increment that. Oh, come on. Num dig. And oops. So what else left? Character class is lower. I think that's the case. Lowercase. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna increment, what was the name? Num, a lowercase basically. Lowercase. And what else left? lower upper digits, letters, space, right? Okay, yeah, just space left. So there's a bunch of them. You can add more, but I think that's enough. So this space. So this is, tells me how many space we got. We're just gonna simply go here and we're gonna increment the space by 1. Alright, so we go one by one, check what it is, and we keep tracking of what it is and just add it. And at the end of it, when we've done the loop, we are simply, let's use the panel also, since I'm doing panel today. So let's have a Java, say option. So let's go show message. Null. So location doesn't matter for us, but null here. And we says okay. Yeah, that's too much work. So let's just do the panel for now. Not the panel, the console. So we're gonna say, okay, your string, your input has let's just make it simple, plus percentage %d letter, percentage %d character. Is that character? All right, lowercase, percentage %d uppercase, percentage %d, what else? That digits, and percentage %d space. I think this space has a problem. This is a line, go through it. Why? Should be fine. Let's leave it for now. Okay, so then you go comma. What's comma? I'm just, my mind flipping. So the letter is num letter, lowercase is lowercase, then uppercase, and what else? And digit. What did I put for digit? Num digit. And last one is space. Did I get it right? Just take all of them to the second line, make it easy to read. Let's do that, then you can integrate this into the panel if you like. So let's run it. This is get out of the, what is that? Alright, so this goes to the main. Here we go. Where's my separator? Why I messed this up? Yeah, good. Let's try it. Alright, so let's put something, some query, some uppercase, some numbers, some that, some random stuff. Alright, your input has 38 letters, 24 lower, 14 upper, 5 digits, and 6 space. Let me check again. Something that I know, not random. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 digits, 2 uppercase, 12. Let's see. 11 letters, 9 lower and 2 upper. So those are the letters. That's my name. As some like yeah. So that's why 11 is my lucky number. 9 of them was lower, 2 of them upper, 4 digit and 2 spaces. Okay, so that's good. Let's just do a string search and then we take a break. So separator. So let's say we have a string. Let's have a string. Let's use the one that I always use for score and 7 years ago. We did this in Python, so we're gonna keep the same thing. Maybe ring the bell better. And we can find the first and the last time a word or a letter actually shows up. So let's say I want to find out when is the first time, what's the location of the first time you see the word R. So let's say index of, it's the method you can use to locate something. So I'm going to find where is R for the first time. So that would be here. There's more R's into this, so there's another R here, but for now I'm just going to do that. This is a string double R. And so if you, this is a first, this method indicates the very first time the input, in this case R, will show up. And the last one is obviously something similar to that, would be the last index of. So you can always find the first and the last one, and from that you can manipulate your string easily. So this is the, let's just copy that since I'm lazy. I don't have a good mouse, but I'll try. Except copy, not type it. This is this method, this is the last time the input, in this case R, will show up in your string. Let's print it. So we're going to print those both. So the first time and the last time. Alright, let's see. So, we're gonna start commenting things because it takes time. Okay. We have a system exit here, so that's not good. So I'm gonna take that all the way to the end. I don't want to exit now. Here we go. So the first time location is 3. The last is 0. Start from 0, obviously, index wise. 1, 2, 3. So that's your first index, and the last one is 24. You guys go and count. I believe the program. Unbeliever. So what if I have a string like that and I have multiple locations? So I can find the first and last, but I want to track of all the location of the words. What should I do? Let's have a string 4, and let's call this and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. That's enough. And I want to track. Good afternoon. It's not morning. Now let's say I have this string. And I want to figure out how many, all the location that the word and shows up. So I'm going to define an integer, call that position. And then we're going to do this. So once the word, let's call it and, appears at the following locations. So first we're going to find the first position, right, or location. So what we're going to do, we're going to find the first one. So we're going to use the index of because that's a string 4, index of, and we're just going to find the word and for the first time. So when we do that, position. When we find that number, then what we're gonna do, we're gonna do this. We're gonna say while the position is not equal to -1, because white space generate -1. So you go through this all the way. When there's nothing there, it generates -1. So we said go all the way through. So as far as that's not -1, so first thing what you're going to do, you're going to print the position, because we have the first one. It's a position. And then that's interesting. So we find the first one. Then we're going to increment the location by 1 and ask the program to find the first one again. Did you get what I said? No? So start from the first one. You find the first one. That's the location. Let's say 3. We make that 4, and we says from that location find the first one again, and you keep repeating till we find all of them. So that's the idea. So let's go and do it. So now we print the location, and what I'm gonna do, obviously you can store those in the array. You can be creative with this, up to you. So now this is the thing. So we're gonna use the index of, and we're gonna go find the and again, but this time from position plus 1. So the index of get inputs, the words you wanna find, and the location they have to start from. If you don't give it the location they have to start from, they're gonna start from the 0, which is the beginning of the index, and then we're gonna keep doing it till the position become -1. So you're on the last word, which is the size of your string, and when you add 1 to it, it goes to the next, which is the white space, and that generates -1. Here we go. So the location would be 0 Then the next one would be 10, because then 20, it makes sense because it's just following the same patterns, right? So it's an and a1 and a2. 3 would be a little bit different, right? Because 3 has more syllables to it than 2, like one more, and that build up to 20 and 32. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there's a total of 4 ands in there, and those are the start location of each. Alright, also, we can split those. We did this. Let's just learn about, let's have a string array. Call that tokens. So string 4. And what I can do, I can split this. So this is really interesting. So I have this array, right? So and a 1 and a 2 and a 3. I can split this from a certain word or basically character and put it into the array separately. So in that case, I have a string array called tokens. I'm gonna go to the string 4 and split it from all the space there is. So it's like a tic-tac. So you have those space. Anytime you see the space, you're just gonna split it and just throw that into the array. So that's a fun way to work through this. You can simply do this. So in that case, the second word would be, guess what? Your token index 1. So we tic-tacking this. So first word go to the location. What's that? Yeah. So there's this is a string. So it has a location index, right? Each cell can contain a string in it. So what I do, I have the main string, which is this guy here. From the space, I'm gonna split it. So I take the and, that would be the first word. I put it into the tokens first location, and the second word, which is an A, from any space I'm gonna break it down and put it into the different cells of a string array. So let's see, in that case, that should show me, come on, the word A. If you want to see it better, let's go just use our enhanced loop technique to just print all of them and see everything's fine. Since you're not really happy with the result like that. So we're gonna go with string S, so that's a dummy string. We're gonna go through to tokens, and every time just print S. So what it does now, we have this tokens array, go one by one, take one, print, 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 and print. So what we're gonna do, now we're gonna make sure we have it. So here we go. So in each cells you have and a, one, and a. From each space you split it up. You can do that from the and though, so it doesn't need to be space. You can split it from any certain points you like to have it. So you can split it from this point, break it down, put it separately into any location you like. I like this string array because it gives you flexibility and you know the locations. You're gonna say first word, second word, third word, and something like that. So you also, this is I'm gonna finish this with searching it. You also can search that up. Let's say you have a string like that, and let's say that there's a bunch of people in it. Let's just do this and then we take the break. let's say you have a bunch of people in there and you just want to search it up. Let's just type it. Was. Let's just keep this organized. These names are freaky. I think that's enough, but just add more names, make it more interesting. Yeah, that's enough, I guess. Smith, Brad, maybe one more. And William Jin. So let's say I have a did I miss a comma or something? Oh, the semicolon. Here we go. So let's say I have a bunch of names and I'm gonna define a scanner and ask the user to have a keyboard. System in. We're gonna have a keyboard. So what we're gonna ask the user is to enter the first few character of the last name, and we look up for it. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna search those strings arrays and find those. It's like a search engine. So they give us a couple of words, we gotta try to match up whatever we have from the database, basically, if you want to call it. So we're gonna define a string called lookup, and we're just gonna go keyboard dot next line. So we're gonna get the user, give us whatever you're looking for, save it as a string here. Now we want to compare those. This is not hard, it's really easy actually. So I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say here are the name that matches. Maybe a nice line will help. And then I'm just gonna use my enhance loop. Call it person and go one by one through the people's array. And when I take that, I simply just gonna do a simple if statement. So I'm gonna do if person dot, there is a method do that for us called a start with. So start with, basically try to check whatever you have and match it up as many as possible. So if it's a match to the partial string, they're gonna let us know. So if that is the case, so if you have a lookup, let's say they put RUS and it goes and check against Russell and Russert and whatever it is to find out what it is. So here we have the lookup. So we're gonna compare that. And if you have a match, which is generate Boolean, we are going to print that person. So if you like partially even match with the name, you're just gonna print it. That's it. So let me just Where? Oh yeah. Trying to wrap this up fast. So here we go. Thank you. All right. So let's search. I don't know. Let's find something interesting. Let's go S&M. Oh, so it doesn't give me anything yet. I think we need those semicolons. Let's see. Oh yeah, like this is capital, right? So that's one of the things. It's case sensitive. Here we go. So we're gonna take whatever has S&M in it as a big at the beginning. So Marthers, Smith, and Smith. So this is one of the things you can use. Obviously, it's case sensitive. So if you don't want to be case sensitive, you can manipulate it with the methods we learned. But that's it. So let's take a break, and then we come back to talk about string builder, which is an interesting class. Let me just separate that here. So this is we taking break here, and after it we're gonna start with string builder. All right, so let's back to this, wrap it up. There's one topic left, which is called that string. Oh, let's just use my separator. Separate. Separator. All right, separator. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about string builder. So manipulating strings are important, especially in Java, and this guy is gonna help us a lot doing that. There is a whole library about this, so it's called a string builder. So we're gonna still my hands are not warmed up after the break. Builder, and we're gonna just go call this string. I don't know how many string I created. String 5, and we're just gonna go new string builder. So I'm creating the object out of this class, and this guy help us build and manipulate strings easily. So we learn how to search it. We can actually split it, but this one help us manipulate string. So how do we do that? Let's say I'm calling string 5 and you have add. So you have an empty string, you can build it up from scratch. So right now I'm just going to add, not add, sorry, append. All right, so you have append, and you can add stuff to it. So we're going to say we sold the fun part of it is you can add anything. So here I'm appending a string to the string builder. Now I'm just adding a number. So I can put 12. So it doesn't limit it to the string as an input to use a string builder to build a string. You can actually put numbers. So 12. So I get the v sold, I push it into that string, then I throw the 12 right after that. I'm building it up. Let's add another thing. 5 dot append. So you can append object, you can append string, you can append character, anything you can append to it. So there's no limit. That's a good part. So you can take whatever from anywhere with different formats and different type and just throw it in there. Donuts for $. Let's go back to that double now. It would be 1595. Let's say. So now if I print that, you will see all of them show up nice as a one string. Oh, forgot all those crap I created. Oh, come on, I forgot my mouse today, so it's this guy drives me nuts. Here we go. So you can see your string builder has all of them as a string now, so you can print it, can manipulate. So you can build it like that, or you can kind of change it. Let's say now I want to replace, I have this string right here, I want to replace something. We can do this, string 5 dot, let's use replace. I say, okay, let's replace from 11 to 20. So this is the area, so this is the index I want to replace from 11 to 20. And I want to go and replace that with, let's say, hot dog. So instead of, say, donut, which is from 11 to 12, 20. This is a location, I already did the math, so we don't waste time here to count, with hot dogs. Let's say. In that case, if you print the string 5, you'll see why. Alright, so you're gonna go through all those crap again. I should go comment those, right? Here we go. So you see, the donuts actually replaced with hot dog. So you take something out, and say instead of it puts whatever I want it to. So this gives you better, easier way to manipulating strings, obviously. Let's find a really good, oh sorry, this is a typo. I'll make you a program using this and then we wrap it up. So we're gonna go create, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna write the class, separately that take a phone number. So the phone number in Canada format is like this, right? So we have parentheses, let's say area code 416, and you have your 3 digits, let's say it's 277, then you have a dash 7777, let's say. Don't call this number. And let's say if the user put it that way, I can't really use that format to manipulate. So I want to store it. I want to get rid of the format and have it unformatted. So I'm going to write the class that has a method to unformat this. Basically turn that to 416 to 777777. So I have like a full number. And also going to write the method to do the other way around. If the user gives me unformatted one, I'm going to make it a format. So another method to get the unformatted and turn that. So let's go do that. Let's just go do that in a separate class, right? So I'm gonna go to the 9 package and I open a Java class, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna call this telephone. And create the new ones. Let me just zoom in. Oops, that's zoom out. Okay, so this is a class telephone, and we're gonna create that. Then we create. Want to keep everything separately. So whatever I'm gonna do, I'm gonna define 2 parameters here. They are final. These are static. So I'm gonna use those elements inside my main. So instead of make it crazy, crowded, I'm just gonna do this in a separate class. Doesn't need to be the class creating object. It can be a class with methods and parameters that you can access easily. So we're gonna make that final static, means I can access it outside of this class, and we're gonna call it formatted length. So this stores the formatted length. So the Canadian phone number is 10 digit, then we're gonna have 2 parentheses and a dash, right? 2 parentheses around the area code and a dash between the first 3 digits and the last 4. So that turns it to 13-digit total. Similarly, we're gonna go with unformatted length. So we want to make sure the length is solid. And that one is 10. So when it's just a bunch of numbers, 10. So let's just comment below. So we're going to define something called a... All right, let me do that. Taking unformatted is easy, but we want to define something that tells me, so I'm going to define the method, which return Boolean, to check that the input is formatted or not. So we get the string, we're going to make sure this input is formatted properly. Because if the user gives us something that is not formatted properly, we want to move some stuff out of it, it's going to mess up the information. So the first thing we're going to do is writing the method, call it formatted. So what we're going to do here is this. Here we go. So I'm tagging those. There's a parameter string, and this is called a tagging, by the way. Each method can be tagged with the parameters it has and the return type for easy analysis, so you don't really need to go through things. So this is the string test, and it returns true. All right, true for when true if the string formatted properly, and false when the right. That's what it does. And you can type here on the top what is this. So I'm gonna say the is formatted. I'm gonna do more tagging later when we go to the classes, but get used to it. Determines, whatever, whether a string is properly formatted as North American tel number, which is basically this, right? XXX XXX dash 4X, right? So let's just put it properly. Here we go. Okay, so let's go write it. So I'm gonna have a flag, a Boolean number, call it valid as a flag. So this is your flag to indicate the validation. And we're simply going to say, okay, if, so one of the things we can check is the length. So the length has to be 13, right? So we say if the string length is equals to the formatted length, and what else? So the length, the first thing we check is the length. If the length is not 13, definitely something off. But let's say the length is fine, and we're gonna check the. So if the character at location, the first location, has to be a parentheses. We want to check. Oh, the first character also is parentheses. And what else we're gonna check? Also, we're gonna check the last, not the last. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm missing an R. Not chat, art equals to close parentheses. So we know that these two has to be valid to be formatted. And what else? So this two has to be there. So the first location, which is index 0, index 4, and this guy, which is index 8. In that case, if that is true, what we're gonna do is we can change the flag or set the flag to true. Otherwise, simply we're gonna set the value to false. So that is it is, and then we're gonna return. You can do that too. That could be like input validation. Catch any errors if they type strings and all numbers. You can do that, yeah. We assuming they entering numbers. Talk about format. We can catch it before we send it. This is just a format, right? We can check it that the user. We can have an input validation to make sure they entering number or not, or if there is kind of error, we can throw an exception there. Those are all things we can do. I'm focusing on basically the format in this case. All right, so when we do that, we can add more methods. Add whatever you think is right for this. This is a phase 1. So now we're gonna write our two methods. So public static. Why static? I want to access to this from another method, right? Another class. So this one return a string. It's supposed to get unformatted. So I have an input string, and what it does, this one is simple. So as soon as I know this is a formatted input, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna create my string builder. Call it, let's say, a string builder variable, new string builder. And here we go. First things I'm gonna do, I'm gonna check that it's formatted or not before I do anything. So if it is formatted properly, then I'm just gonna go. Hey, ladies on the back, keep it quiet. To call them. Yeah. They're busy. Please. I know it's an exciting photo, but alright, so what we're gonna do is this. So we build our string builder. If the format is right, just gonna simply delete. And what we can delete is character at. So we can delete the number or this, and we're gonna delete the first. So that's the first parenthesis I want to delete my string builder. So this gets rid of this parentheses here. And what else? What should I delete next? What location? Some like substrings. Substrings? Yeah, you can do that. I'm teaching string builder now. But string builder don't have any substring method. It should has. You can take a look. Yeah, it has. It has. The thing, the point here is this. So what should I delete right now? Like she said 4. The answer is 3. Why is 3? Because we already delete one. Yeah. So that's the thing. So now, guess what? What should I delete now? Yeah. So as you delete, you're gonna keep track of whatever happens here. So every time so by deleting the first character, this is important. I'm glad you joined us after an hour 45, something like that. So every time you delete, everything shifts from that point. So the location will change n-1. And that's the thing. When you're done, you can't really return that like this. You want to return it as a string. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna learn whatever I learned today and do strb dot toString to return that. Yeah, that's it. So the point is, string builder, you can use it, manipulate your string, and then just use a toString method to return it back as a string. All right, so let's write something for formatted, then we can go discover new stuff. What is that? What do we have here? Oh no, sorry, return gonna go outside of my bad, outside of your if statement, right? Because return belongs to the method, not the condition. All right, so let's write the formatted one, then we can discover more if you like to. Public static. So same thing. So this time we inserting, right? So we're gonna do the same thing. So let's say again. So for unformatted, the only thing we need to check for now is just the length of it. That is the same. Or we can check also if it's numbers. All of them has to be digit, right? We just learned that today. Let's do it. As he said, he had got a point there. So we're gonna have your string. Oh, here we go, Mr. R. You can also check if your string is. You can check empty. What was this digit? I forgot what was it. No. It says it's empty. Yeah, you're gonna write the whole thing as a character. You're gonna check that character by character if you want to see all digits. So it's better to this happens outside of this, like before you're sending a string, you can actually use to check it as all digit. Then just send it in. Excuse me. All right, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna get the string builder going. I build it outside of this, that's fine. We can use the same. This keyboard drives me nuts. So we're gonna discover insert. So first thing, we're gonna insert the first location, the parentheses, And we're gonna similarly do the same thing with this one goes to the fourth location. And the tab here. And when you're done with this, you're just gonna return dot using toString to basically return it as a string. Strings are important topics in Java. Basically, many things you want to do, you end up using strings. That's why it's one of the most popular methods in Java is toString. It's very popular if you're into that. Okay, so let's go back to, let's save that. Do I have an error? No. Better not. So let's go use it, see how this goes. Let's go back to my class here and let's see how we can use this method. So let's first ask for it. So we're gonna have a string. Let's call it a phone number. To hold the input, to hold the phone number. And do I have a scanner? I think I have a scanner somewhere, right? Did I create? Here we go. So I have a keyboard right here, so I'm gonna use that. I don't need to create it anymore. I have a scanner, so what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna ask the user to give me enter an unformatted phone number. And they're gonna pick the input and store it in that dummy variable of mine. So we're gonna go keyboard dot just next line. I guess we'll do the trick. And now we simply just gonna print, test it out. So the formatted will be we're gonna call the class telephone. Then I have access to all the statics ones, format, unformatted. In this case, I'm just gonna use formatted and send the phone number to it. Okay. Since I'm at it, let's do the other one too and test it together. So now I'm also gonna ask the user enter and formatted phone. And I'll give them the example, okay, because they don't know what that is. So it should be something like this. Then we grab that input. So we're gonna go, let's use the phone number again. What's the point of creating another one? Let's override that. It's a dummy variable after all. So we're gonna go next line. And you say unformatted will be just Jesus plus phone number dot is not in. Okay, what am I doing for unformatted? So we're gonna try unformatted. Is that what I'm looking for? No, we're gonna call the telephone. I'm gonna call the class and then you have the unformatted method, and we're gonna send the phone number to it. Okay, so that should work. Let me take a look, see how that goes. Get rid of all this garbage. Alright, so let's enter the unformatted number 416. Oh, 416-277-7777, and here you go, that's a formatted one. And now let's do 647 722 2222, and here's unformatted. So you can use a string builder doing such a things. Obviously, there is a better way to do this, but we are focusing on string building today. Or string builder, not building. Pretty much it. This chapter is over.